Would I have slept with someone to get one of my children home? I'd have sold tickets to the show. We were convicted by a jury of our peers, were we? I didn't see multimillionaires in that jury box. I don't have an apology to give you or anyone else over the money that I've made.
Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley may be out of prison, but they aren't shying away from talking about their time behind bars. The couple made their highly anticipated appearance on their daughter Savannah Chrisley's Unlocked podcast, where Todd revealed if he actually worked while he was behind bars.
Yeah, we drove. There were vehicles all over the place.
Yeah, that was...
Gators.
I didn't do any of that. I did not work. I did not give them any labor.
You were in the chapel.
Yeah, but I prayed for their demise. That's the only work I did.
Yeah, but there also was somebody that said that you really didn't have a job in the chapel. You remember that?
That was that person that had that little Instagram account.
Yeah.
That said that I didn't work in the chapel. Well,
yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be lying on God's helpers. That you can't be doing that. When you start messing with God's chosen children, He will strike you down.
Savannah's podcast is the latest interview they've done since their release from federal prison after being pardoned by President Donald Trump. Following their May 28th release, they've sat down with Fox News and ABC News to share their side of the story. And now Access Hollywood is breaking down the biggest bombshells from their interviews. In the ABC News studio special, The Chrisleys Life After Lockup, Todd fiercely responded to claims that he didn't serve his time.
There are some who feel that you were convicted by a jury of your peers, that the appeal was not granted, and that you didn't serve your time.
We were convicted by a jury of our peers, were we? I didn't see multimillionaires in that jury box. I didn't see people that were in the film industry in that jury box. I saw people in a heavily Democratic county, and a judge allowed them to paint us as this white family who has white entitlement and who has money to burn. Juju, we spend time on talking about what do you say to the people that don't believe you should have gotten it. Do they feel that same way about President Biden when he did just blanket pardon?
The father of 5 also shared what emotions he was navigating his first nights in prison 2 years ago.
I was angry at God. I cried myself to sleep and I said, God, why are you allowing this?
When it came to how they passed their time behind bars, Todd and Julie had 2 very different approaches.
I stayed busy. I was determined to stay busy.
Did you really drive a forklift?
I did. I absolutely did. I stayed busy every day. I was going to keep my mind active, my body active, because I knew I was getting out at some point. The more I could stay busy, the more I had to think about what I was missing out on at home.
I stayed in a routine. I got up, I showered, I shaved, I put on my clothes, I went to the library, I did my emails, I called Savannah every morning, and then I went and worked out. And then I read a lot. I read 116 books while I was gone. I read a lot of Maya Angelou, and that was very helpful. That was very helpful.
And there was a lot of talk that you got jacked during that time.
I'm certainly in better shape than I was when I went in.
This man couldn't even make it through a workout session.
I didn't want to.
With me before he went in. And now he's like, all right, let's go work out.
But it was my saving grace.
Although Julie made it a point to keep her mind active, she revealed she developed asthma while incarcerated.
No, I didn't feel unsafe or threatened by that someone was going to do harm to me. I felt unsafe because of the conditions. I developed asthma and I have horrible breathing issues that I never had going in. I was more concerned because my health, I could see my health deteriorating, and things that I had never had an issue with before, now all of a sudden became an issue.
In the wide-ranging interview, Todd directly shut down his former business associate, Mark Baddock's claims that their relationship was more than professional.
He's never said anything like that. He's never approached me in that manner. Well, if I was going to do that, it wouldn't be with somebody that was broke. It wouldn't be with somebody that looks like him.
The family also addressed rumors about how they were granted the pardon by the president.
You know, you wear the MAGA hat, you speak at the RNC. This is pure political favoritism. They don't deserve.
For sure. I get it. I get how it could look that way, but for me, I've also lost a lot along the way.
Sleeping your way to the pardon, paying your way to the pardon. How did you handle that kind of talk?
It was extremely challenging, and I think for reasons that people would not expect. What was challenging for me was the fact that
this talk came from women. So we as women have the ability to build each other up and tear each other down. And I worked for 2.5 years. I did not have a single political connection. I went to DC. I forced myself into rooms I was never invited into. I educated myself. So it took a lot away from all the hard work that I put into it.
Savannah was raised her entire life to empower women, that she came from a strong mother, a strong grandmother, and women that are hard workers. And you don't ever talk about another woman. You lift them up. It was so disheartening, but not unexpected. Would I have slept with someone to get one of my children home? I'd have sold tickets to the show. But my daughter didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I certainly did not.
When it came time to reunite, Julie revealed why she was nervous to see her husband for the first time after 2 years.
Just because, you think, oh my gosh, I've been away this long. But then when I saw him, it was as if no time had passed.
And for me, it's just weird because she was never away from me. Even the whole time that we were apart, she was with me every second, every breath that I took. I mean, when I saw her, I was grateful to wrap my arms around her, but it was just more like I'm home.
The Chrisley family still maintains their innocence, and Todd even says he doesn't owe anyone an apology for how he makes his money.
Julie and I both came from very humble beginnings. I worked every day. Every day of my life I've worked. Julie has worked right beside me. Why am I not allowed to have the benefit of the fruits of our labor? I don't have an apology to give you or anyone else over the money that I've made.
Now that her parents are out, Savannah also revealed if she'd ever run for Congress.
I believe
we cringe, but we're kind of thinking yes.
Not a cringe.
There's been some talk of a congressional run. I don't know if that will or will not be the thing that I do, or if it's what I'm called to do. But also, I believe right now my goal is to speak to younger voters.
In their interview with Fox News, the family shared that they are returning to television in a new Lifetime docuseries.
We're coming back to television.
Okay.
It's amazing that those that walked away from you are the first ones knocking at the door again. So we're coming back to television, and I think that we're heading back home. We're heading back to South Carolina, where we came from. And we're going to open a hotel there, and we're going to create a show around it, and we're going to hopefully be grandparents at some point.
No pressure.
Todd and Julie were convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud in 2022. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison while Julie was sentenced to 7. They reported to their respective prisons in January 2023, but after serving 9 months, both of their sentences were reduced. Fast forward 2 years, in May, President Donald Trump announced that he would be granting the couple full pardons.